you're not only looking at global Christianity. I mean, yes, I know you're examining global Christianity, but you also see other religions too. And do you see that when you're identifying like Islam, when you're looking at Islam, I mean, of course you have the Sunnis, the Shias, and then Sufis, which is kind of another kind of group into that. And then you have kind of the folk Islam. Do you use the same type of criteria for describing them? Because other Muslims would say, okay, that's not a Muslim. And you're like, well, they identify as such.
Yes, we use the same self-identification tools as we do for Christianity for other religions as well. So if you self-identify as a Muslim, you're a Muslim, even if this particular school of Islam doesn't think your school is, quote, real Islam. Because global Islam is just as diverse as global Christianity is. Islam in Indonesia, the world's largest Muslim country, is way different than Islam in Saudi Arabia, the home of Mecca and Medina. They're just different kinds of Islam, much like Christianity in Saudi Arabia and Christianity in Indonesia are really, really different. So that's why taking the self-identification route kind of protects us a little bit, frankly, from making statements, making qualitative judgments. I don't want to be in the business of making judgments on people's faith or the practice of their faith. I'm not interested in that. I want to describe who they say they are and where they fit in the global picture. That's what I want to do.
Okay, so that makes it a bit more objective, though, across the board, because you're applying the same criteria through I mean, it's the same mechanism of being judgment. So you're not putting a theological layer on top of this. That's for theologians and biblical scholars, right?
That's right.
Okay. So taking that into consideration, you've seen these movements, these growths, these branches. We all know, though, that, I mean, you're examining even over time, the best that you can according to the information that you have. And we've seen this shift, and I've seen it time and time again. I've seen it in your research where you've seen a shift in global Christianity over the past 100 years, give or take. But specifically from the global north and the global south. Now, I want us to just take in for a minute, define these two different arenas or spheres, I guess, locations. I'm not even sure what to describe it as. But global north is what regions does that take in, and global south? It's because it's not just a clear line dividing the equator being the dividing line. It's not that clear of a line.
Sadly. So we're using United Nations designations for how we structure the world. I don't decide, for example, how many people live in India. The United Nations puts together in their demographic database every 2 years how many people live in India and all the other countries. My job is to figure out the religious situation of all the people who live in India. So the United Nations divides the world into global north and global south. So the global north is Europe and North America, and the global south is Asia, Africa, Latin America, and Oceania. Now, this is not a perfect way to divide up the world, but we need language to talk about what we're doing. And there has been discernible trends of the shift of Christianity from the global north to the global south. So, for example, in the year 1900, 82% of the world's Christians lived in the global north, Europe, North America, and only 18% lived in the global south. By the year 2020, 33% of Christians lived in the north, and 67% of all Christians today live in the global south. The entire field of world Christianity is predicated on the shift of Christianity to the global south. That's what my predecessor, David Barrett, discovered and quantified for the first time. Something that people had sensed was happening. Ooh, Europe and North America are becoming more secular, but Christianity seems to be growing in Africa and other places. And then David Barrett came along and said, yep, that's true. And here are the numbers that I've come up with to show you that the shift is happening. And from there, the whole field of world Christianity just exploded because people realized and started asking questions. Well, what's the role of Western Christianity if we're not the majority anymore? What does it mean for mission? What does it mean for theological education? What does it mean for money? Where's the money in world Christianity? Where are the resources? The implications of the shift are massive and still being worked out by Christians around the world today.